Hey Crafty Peeps, it's time for another mystery box challenge. Yay, my favorite time of the year. Okay, this month our host is Kelly over at Kelly Barlow Creations, and so she got to decide the theme for us, which is tiered tray. And with that, the twist this month is everything is miniature or small. And so I am so excited about that because I grew up spending a lot of time with my grandma, and her specialties was miniatures. And so I've always been a big fan, and so I'm really excited to do some miniature items. And so if you are new to the Mystery Box Challenge, Courtney over at Creative on the Cheap has put this together. She grabs several creative folks and gets us together, and we send each other a mystery box, and then we create with it. Now, this month we are welcoming the sweet Emily from Farm Charm Cheek, and she actually sent me my box. So I will go ahead and open that here in just a second. And then I sent my box over to Jamie at the Crafty DIY Guy. And so anyhow, I implore you to not only check out the entire playlist, but go over to Emily's page and make sure you welcome her. Give her a warm welcome. We're so excited to have her here. And let's see, I think that was everything. So here, I'm going to open. She sent me a little note. All right. She said, I am so excited to be participating in the Mystery Box Challenge. This time I had so much fun shopping for you. Some fall, some theme, and some tricky challenge items. Enjoy the candy, your crafty friend, Emily. Ooh, candy, what did she send me? Okay. Emily, these are some of my favorites, and I have never seen Andes that big. So, I will definitely be eating those. Okay, oh, I know what I was going to talk about, the list. So each time there's usually a shopping list, and it's usually, like if you were with us last month, that list was so hard, and also I'll publicly apologize to Kelly. When I sent her the box and it was so challenging, I just knew she was up for it, and once I saw what other people sent, I thought, oh gosh, I could have sent that, or I could have sent that. So I'm sorry. I know a few people were mad at me, and but Kelly is seasoned, and I knew she could handle it. Okay, but this month, everything is sender's choice. Okay, so we just got free for all of what we could send. We were asked to at least send something in the theme. So each of us were assigned a theme. And so my theme that I got assigned was hot cocoa apple cider. And so Emily was supposed to send me, an item or two or whatever she wanted that would help me with that theme. But the rest was up for grabs. And then we got to choose our 2 challenge items. Okay, so let's see what Miss Emily did. So we started with the sign. Okay, so she really got the sign. However, I got to make this miniature. So we'll see there. I kind of have a little idea. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, there's more candy in here, so I'm assuming this is to eat. Also, my other favorite candy is gummy bears. So, okay. So, let's see. We have 1 item so far. We have item number 2. Okay. Super easy. This is great tier tray. Great for signs. Oh my gosh. So, I kind of like to think about what I might make with the theme. And I was thinking, you know what? Cinnamon sticks, right? And so what do I see in here? But cinnamon sticks. Cinnamon is also my favorite smell. If I'm gonna get a candle, it's gonna have cinnamon in it. Okay, so there's item 3. Okay, Emily, I'm dying. I'm dying because I took a picture of this when I was in Hobby Lobby so that I could recreate it because it's so dang cute. So, and it even shows it kind of on a tier tray. So that's so funny. I actually really wanted that. Okay, so we're at 4 items. We'll see, item number 5. Okay. She really did stick with the fall. We got some gorgeous ribbon. So that's item 6. Okay, item number 7. That's really cute. Okay. Okay. Emily, you were very nice to me. I haven't opened the challenge items yet, but you were definitely nice to me. Okay, and then I think this is item number 8, I think. And yeah, she went right for the, like a apple cider thing. So I can definitely, I said apple cider. Oh yeah, apple cider. Not apple cider vinegar, but apple cider, like the delicious cinnamon. Okay, so she was so nice to me. I think because it's her first time, she was probably a little bit nervous to not be nice. Okay, there's the 2. Oh, maybe there's one more item in here. I think she mentioned that she sent me an extra item, and that's cool because I am. So let's see, what did she send me? Oh, stop it. Stop it. That's so cute. Okay, that's adorable. I feel like she was way too nice to me. Okay, but let's see the challenge items. Hopefully, you know, if they're terrible, that's okay because she was so nice to me. There is this cute little twine on it, and I'm literally going to keep it because I may want to use it because it's a fall theme. Okay, this is big, so I already think it might be hard because I have to make something miniature. Ooh. Girl, this isn't a challenge item. She's making my life too easy. It looks like it's kind of, what's it called? It's table. Okay, this is from Dollar Tree. That is so cool. So this, it looks like it's just like a placemat. It's a table runner. Okay. Okay. Emily, you were quite nice to me. She was worried about being mean. I was like, well. Okay, challenge item number 2. Okay, there we go. This is a true challenge item. I actually use something like this. Okay, we've got ourselves a scalp massage thing. These are really great. Did you know that you shouldn't use your fingernails because there's bacteria under them when you scrub your hair? So this is what you should use. It's so cute. I immediately see a pear, but I'm not doing pears. Can I make this into an apple or something? Okay. Good job on this challenge. Okay, Emily was so sweet to me. We will get working. Fall and Halloween are my favorite. I mean, okay, I like Christmas too. So basically I love the months between September and December. And I think we all do. What they say, it's the Burr months. September, October, November, December. Okay, so I'm gonna go think on these and get to it. And all right, let's get into it. Okay, let's start off with this adorable little mug. I'm gonna go ahead and paint it red. I don't know if I said in the intro that I was going to go ahead and go with the apple cider, hot apple cider theme. I thought the hot cocoa was so cute, but I know so many people have done hot cocoa trays, and so I was like, let's go with the hot apple cider, especially because I feel like that's a little bit more fall and fall colors. So I just went ahead and I painted this red. I actually like how little bit of the orange is peeking through, but you can't see it too much. Of course, I just ran over to my Cricut. I found this on Cricut Design Space. It says hot apple cider, 25 cents. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that down on the. Then it was, how can I fill this? There was quite a bit of options. I have some polymer clay. I think it's polymer that has been in my stash for years and years and years. And I was hoping it was still good, and it was. So I'm going to use that to go inside of this little mug. Now, do you think this is a good color for apple cider? I think, it's like it's like an orangey brown. I think so. I thought this color was perfect. So I just put a little bit of styrofoam in there to raise it up. And then also I love this tool by Slice. I have several of their tools. It's nice because it's not metal. It's not super sharp, so you're not gonna like cut yourself. And I like it for using it on styrofoam or clay or something like this. I'm actually going to use this little rolling pin later in the video. So I was like, let's just use it. I'm going to tell you this is not the way to do it. And if you are someone who works with polymer clay, let me know how you roll it out because this was not it. It stuck to the mat. So I just showed you that because yeah, that was quite the mess. Don't do it that way. So I just went ahead and rolled it in my hands and just kind of flattened it out and put it in the mug that way because that is just what worked the best, and it actually worked just fine because it kind of went into a circle anyway. I'm just going to get that the right shape and then just put it across the top there. And then I'm going to grab those delicious cinnamon sticks. Oh my goodness. I am I loved how the whole like, my whole craft table smelled. It was just like cinnamon, and I felt like fall was coming. I have to say, I am so excited to live in a place that actually has fall now because, living in California, fall didn't start literally until, like, maybe the end of October, early November. And then it just, like, by Thanksgiving went into winter, so there wasn't that, like, nice fall, and here in Virginia, I get a fall, it's already starting to cool off, and it's amazing. But anyhow, you can see here, I'm just taking my X-Acto knife and I'm cutting down this cinnamon stick. I liked how it rolled up on both sides because it worked out perfect because I'm going to make like, it's almost like a straw, but a cinnamon stick. They're going to go inside my little cup there in the clay. And oh my gosh, this is just turning out too cute. And then after I get this down into the clay, I'm just going to cut a little bit little tiny shavings and add that to the top of my hot apple cider. And then this project is complete.
A train just left this town while I'm slowly heading back to my apartment. I'm not asking for your thoughts.
Now, of course, I this was good on its own. I am, oh, I really like this. So I'm going to pop off this cinnamon stick here and pop off this bow. And then we're going to just make this over. We're going to Lisify it. If you are new to my channel, I am a paper crafter at heart, and I have a massive scrapbook supply. If I can find scrapbooking supplies on clearance, I'm buying them. And so a lot of my papers and stuff I use are probably pretty old. I don't remember the paper I used on this if it's pretty old, but I am going to link a shop that I shop at all the time, and they have these warehouse clearance sales. You get these big old kits for $7, and it comes with tons of paper and stickers and all sorts of things. So I went ahead and I picked out this piece of paper. They're also always like double-sided. It would have been fun to do like a bold print, but because of the way this was going to turn out, I had to use something a little bit more basic. So I went with that plaid color. And I loved how it had kind of like a red and orange because this whole clear tray is going to be red and orange. And that of course screams fall. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting it out to the exact shape. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eyeball with my pencil, and I'm going to draw, oh, I don't know, maybe a quarter of an inch around the whole thing. And that is why I only painted the edges red instead of the whole thing because I knew I was putting paper over it, but I wanted it to have like this red border. And so that is why I did that. And so then I'll cut it down and you'll see it'll kind of have this little red border. And then of course I wanted the sides of my bottle also red. Um, so we'll go ahead and cut that out. Then let's see, I end up cutting, you'll see I cut the um, gosh, what do you call it? The handle of the jar off because I don't want that covered in paper. I'm actually just going to leave it as is because that would be like a different color. Okay, so now it's time to kind of decide how I'm going to decorate this. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to glue this little piece. And you saw me cut off the very top. And that's because I'm going to take the cork sheet from Dollar Tree and I'm going to cut it down. And so it'll look like there was a cork in the top of our bottle. So a lot of this project, I am in this video too. Just a lot of just regular school Elmer's glue. Um, that works for me. Okay. Now, excuse me, I didn't mean to clear my throat. Now what I want is kind of like an angled an arch because I want to just write like apple cider. And so found the ribbon that I actually that Emily sent me was the perfect circle for me to make my arch. And then these stickers came with that paper kit. And I'm just going to start with the letters and go backwards so that way I know I'm getting like the center correct. And so again, I'm just putting stickers on that say apple cider. And then I find a little bit of a smaller circle to do the under arch and then I can cut it out. Now you could use like your, what are those called? Compasses? I don't know why I can never get the compass to work. I think probably because it's plastic from Dollar Tree. It doesn't work very well. But that is what I was going for. And now again, eyeballing, I just kind of made little dots under the letters that I could see through so that way I would know how thick to cut it. So this is kind of just eyeballing it and I think it turned out pretty good. I'm going to like circle the edges. Now we're going to go back to this sign that Emily sent and we're going to pop off these apples and I'm going to end up using it um, on this project. It was having a hard time coming off, so I just used my heat gun and then it popped right off. So I definitely didn't want to break it because I really like how it looks. So we're popping this off and then we're going to use this on our apple cider jar. So we're kind of flipping it over. And then if you remember, I took the little cinnamon sticks off this project. So we're going to use it, we're going to put it back on, but this time we're just putting them on top of the apples. And so this way we've jazzed this up. And then I will add the little apple cider words. And like I said, then I just cut the little piece of cork and then on this little sticker sheet, you can see there's like all these little like rectangular words and stuff. And so I saw one on there that I liked and I went ahead and just put it under the apple cider. And then lastly, the bow that was on it originally still looked great, still worked with what we were doing. So I just put it right back on and I really like how that turned out. And once again, once those elements are glued down, this project is complete.
Just thinking out loud in the darkness. There's no point 'cause we both know. From here there's nowhere to go. Someone said your heart is golden. All I got was mine.
Okay, for this next project, I got this little crate at Dollar Tree, and I just used the antique wax from Waverly to cover it, and I did that off screen. And this is what the little crate looks like. And it did have this little twine as like its handle, but I took that off and put it aside. I got this bowl filler from Dollar General of apples, and then I will use these other pieces. Now, that purple piece there is from the I took apart the scalp massager, and that's the piece that came off of it. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm just painting the tips of these with the red paint, and I'm going to use it like a stamp and put little red like polka dots on my crate. Now, I will admit this wasn't thinking too much out of the box here. And so don't you worry, I do use it again more outside of the box later in this video because, that wasn't very impressive there. Okay, and then this is the stem that Emily sent me. Now that stem, regular price, $2.99. Probably you can get it 50% off, which is $1.50, which is now cheaper than Dollar Tree because their florals are now $1.75. So other stores may be cheaper, as is that bowl filler from Dollar General. Dollar General is still only $1. And they have a lot of the similar items that Dollar Tree has, some even better items, and theirs are again still $1. Now, these kind of look like a little bit like cherries to me. So I cut the stems down, wanted them to make sure they looked more like apples with a short stem. So I just cut those down. But look how much you get for $1. Like that's such a good deal. Um, I got some pumpkins from Dollar General, and there was like 13 in the bag, and at Dollar Tree you get 6. And so it's like a way better deal. So hopefully you have a Dollar General near you. Um, as you can see there, I just took some of the raffia, put it in the bottom to kind of look like hay. Now we're putting this little stem in here, there, and we're just filling this up. This is such an easy project. It's why it's going so fast because I'm basically just filling the little crate. This sticker right here from that sticker pack, it says something like apples 25 cents. I can't remember what it says, but I just put it down on a piece of, plaid paper so it pops a little more, using that ribbon again that Emily sent, and I'm just gonna glue it around the crate. Um, and I go ahead and I glue a little bit on all 4 sides so that it stays in position really well. And then I'm just going to glue our little sign to the front. And then lastly, I wanted to make a new handle. While the little twine handle was cute, I was really thinking more like leather. And thankfully, I still have some of the leather ribbon, the faux leather ribbon, it's hard to say, from Dollar Tree. And so I'm going to cut a little piece of that to use for the handle. I haven't seen it in my stores in a while. Have you seen it? I remember when I bought it, I was like, I bought a couple of each color because I didn't want to not be able to find it again. And guess what? Not able to find it again. I'm just poking a little hole there with my poker tool and I'm putting in a brad. And there was already a hole on each side of the crate where the twine was, so it works out perfectly for me to just shove the little brad through and put it right through the crate. And then that's it. This little apple basket is complete. Um, Again, didn't use a whole lot of items from the mystery box. Pretty much just the ribbon and the stems. But I definitely needed a basket full of apples for this tier tray.
broken. I can see the dawn is coming just for you, for you, for you.
Okay, it's time to use this challenge item. I want to find another one of these just so I can actually use it as it's supposed to be as a table runner because it is so cool. So one side is this bright, shiny copper color, and then the other side is just kind of a duller brownish color, which I actually liked it that way better. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut one of the leaves out, and I'm going to use these to decorate the tier tray. Now, don't worry, I am going to use this in another manner as well. So, but I was just like, I definitely love these leaves, and just setting them on the tier tray is going to look really nice. And it did. So I cut out 3 of the leaves. So they're a full leaf, and then we'll move on to how I use them again. Okay, and as you can see, when it's all cut out, it looks so nice. Okay, now that I set that aside, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pop off this scarf and this little campfire. I'm gonna set those aside because I will use those for another project. I don't end up using the boots. Those were a little too like springy for me, the way they look. So I'm just gonna again pop them off, but maybe I'll throw them in my spring craft stuff. So go ahead and then I also take the paper off this. Thankfully, it came off so easy. Then I just took this out to my shed where I have my miter saw, and I just cut them in like, I don't even know how big they were. I just kind of lined them up there, made a mark. Okay, so there they are. I just cut 4 pieces and then I covered them in cashew paint. Okay, and this is what they look like. Now, I'm going to show you 2 wrongs and a right here. So, what I was going to do here is make a stencil out of the leaf pattern from our table runner. And I think where I went wrong as far as making it, I used the dull side up. And I think it might have worked if I did the dull side down because it's kind of almost like embossed on the other side. It's got like texture. So this did not work. Okay. So what happened was is it was not flat enough. So when I took it off, everything kind of bled underneath it. So that is number 1 fail. See, that's not what I wanted it to look like. So then I think, okay, let's put the paint right on it. And now we're going to use it more like a stamp, right? This was messy. Let me just get it all over my hand. And this worked better. Okay. You can see it kind of missed some spots. So then I just kind of go back and kind of stamp it. Then I get the 3rd time I get smaller. Okay, so now we're still gonna use it like a stamp, but we're gonna put it down flat and then we're gonna put our block on top and that's gonna give us a more even and not as messy. And there it turned out perfect. So we can fix this one. Thank goodness. All I had to do was take a baby wipe here and just wipe it really good and it completely came off. Look at that. So then I go ahead and I do the first one the right way. And I just love how it gives that texture. I think it gives like wood um texture. So now I just went into my stash. I have these little alphabet letters. I hope they're still available. I'm gonna list them below because I use them all the time. So I put them down here, and of course, I just painted them red. They were just regular wood, and I painted them red. I feel like they get lost on the blocks there. So I went and I grabbed my paper punch. I have the circles in like every size because, circles are hard to cut out. So I use my circle punches all the time, and you can find circle punches. Um, easily at the craft store or online and like I have like the 3/4 and the inch. So I went ahead, I glued those down. I just used the Elmer's glue again, so I skipped that step. You know how to glue stuff down. Then I went in and those little the little stems that Dollar Tree sells or used to sell. I grabbed some of those out of my stash and I just cut them down short and I glued those down to the top. So we've got kind of this pumpkin apple look that it's going for. We're going to really use this challenge item. And so what I'm going to do now is kind of cut a leaf shape out of them and glue it to the little stems. Um, like I said, she was so nice with this challenge item. So I was really trying to think outside the box with it and not just do where I cut the leaves out and added them to the tier tray. So I thought that was kind of cheating. So I really wanted to push myself, and I think that I used this pretty good. I really liked it. And then this project's done, and look at how cute it is. I love that texture. I would love to know if you think that was a good idea. Okay, this is just a quick project. We're using 2 items out of the box. I just painted over that little freedom sign with red. Man, that did not want to get painted over. I painted like 3 coats, but it doesn't matter because I am covering it. And so the red was there just in case there was any peekaboo. So I go ahead and that ribbon was the perfect width. So I go ahead and I just glue it around the sides and the top. So I didn't do it on the bottom because I want this to sit flat. So easy peasy, just glued this to the sides. And then that little paper there was also from that scrapbook pact that I used earlier in this video, and it fit perfect as well. And you'll see it, oh, I should say it's a little short. And so that's where that red paint comes in handy because once I put this on there, this is the project's complete. So this was really like a cheater easy project, but I think it makes a perfect addition to the tier tray. Okay, we are going to go back to the sign that I popped the apples off on. And just with my X-Acto knife, I cut this down. And then, as you can see here, so I cut it like that and cut it like that, and then I cut the top off. Now, how did I decide how to make the sign this shape? So what I did is I went into Cricut Design Space and I knew the image type that I wanted, and it's the one that has all the words in like different colors. And so then what I did is when I was in Design Space, I found a little like campfire uh graphic and a scarf graphic, and I made them around the same size as these were that I popped off that one sign, the long one. And then I designed it around that. So that's how I knew how big the sign has to be. So this is a little bit larger of a sign for a tier tray. But when you see the type of tier tray I use, this actually looks really good. I put it on the top level in the back, and I think it looks good, even though it's a little bit on the larger side. And then the reason I kept the bottom the way it is because it stands on its own that way. So this was a really easy to create. And I skipped a step there to show you that I just painted that sign in that same cashew color from Waverly. Um, that I used in the previous project. So here I had three different colors, orange, red, and brown, and I added this onto the sign. And then I'm going to add our little, these are from this project, and I'm going to add them to our sign. And I think that turned out really cute. And then lastly, I am going to grab that same ribbon again. I use that ribbon throughout this whole video. I think it was just so perfect for apple cider because it brought fall, but it has like a little bit of red in it. And I'm just going to glue it across the bottom, just kind of finishes this off. And like I said, this just stands on its own now. Now, if it was a little wobbly, you could always put a Jenga block in the back or even the little piece I had cut off that was on the other side. That would work too. And don't you worry. I know how well we get with the backs being finished, especially on a tier tray, because you may see it from the back. So I did grab another piece of scrapbook paper from that kit, and this one was perfect. It's literally crates of apples. So I thought that was so cute. So you probably won't see this, but if you did, look at how cute that paper is. So that turned out really cute. Okay, so as you saw previously, I kind of cheated with the other challenge item by making it like a little like stamp, but I was going to definitely challenge myself with this. Um, and so tell me what you think that this is going to be. So I am taking three of these little kind of look like triangles. They kind of look like traffic cones. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint them. I'm starting with yellow, and I'm going to do the tips yellow, and then I'm going to do the middle orange, then I'm going to do the bottom red. So drop your guesses. What am I doing with these? Um, this was kind of fun. Now, this really is something that's more on the miniature side. Okay, so while you watch this paint, I want to invite you over to my Instagram. I in my stories I share like lots of like hauls, like Dollar Tree, Dollar General, things like that. Let me share my personal life. There's all sorts of things you can gain by going over to my Instagram. You can also message me, and I answer every single one of my DMs unless it's spam. And so if you ever have a question, obviously you can leave it on the video, but you can always message me over on Instagram as well. So my name over there is $__mom. So just make sure you get both of those underscores, or I will also have it linked down in my description. Um, Boy, it's taking me a little time here to paint. I was trying to make sure you saw all of it. Um, and so once this is painted, you definitely have to set it aside to make sure everything is dry. Okay, for the next step, I grab this little wood round from my stash. I do Dollar Tree sells them now. And then I grab some more of the cinnamon sticks and I cut them down so they will fit. Now, if you guessed a campfire, then you were correct. I thought they kind of started looking like candy corns, but it is for fire. So I go ahead and I glue down the little cinnamon sticks, and then we're gonna put our little flames from the scalp massager on top, and we're going to make just a cute little campfire to set onto our tier tray. So this is where you can sit by the fire and sip on your hot apple cider and enjoy the fall weather. So now I have them cut down individually, and you can see there's still purple showing because there was no way to paint the insides, the outsides, until they were already cut down. So what I'm going to do is glue them down first, and then just with my little tiny paintbrush that you see there, I'm going to go back in, and anywhere where I can see purple, I'm just going to cover it with red paint, and then I have my little so hopefully, that was a much better use of the challenge item than just using it as a stamp.
Times will come again.
I have now used everything in the box, but I do want to make a couple more items because it's so much fun. So I grabbed this from Dollar Tree, and I know it's putting paper on both sides. So I just painted the red in the middle and on the side. So here's another piece of scrapbook paper, and I cut two apples out just by tracing. And I'm going to do the plaid on one side because once again, I want it to be not too bold. And then on the other side, I am going to do the fun pattern because once again, I'm just finishing off the back. And then I had some wood apples in my stash, so I am going to um use those. So I actually got like this grab bag from my friend Tracy. I'll link her store, but she has all sorts of like wood cutouts, and she has a bunch of apple items in there. Now that one was from Dollar Tree, but it was just a little bit too big, and like I said, this one was in my stash. So I went ahead and used it because it was a little bit smaller. Now I'm going to go to my sticker sheet to see how I want to decorate the front of this. There was way too many choices. It made it very hard, but I went ahead and I'm going to glue this wood apple down. And if you're wondering why I was putting another apple on an apple, I just love the dimension and whatnot. So I found these little strips of pattern on the sticker sheets. And so I'm going to kind of just hang those off of the apple this way. So I'll take a couple of these, and then I'll end up doing picking one of the like bigger stickers. I'm going to use some of those foam double stick foam tape so that it does have even more dimension because that is my favorite. If you know me, you know that my two things are texture and dimension. I love those. I don't want flat art. I want dimension. So again, you can see here that I'm just adding these sticker, and I have a couple different thicknesses because some things I want to really pop up and some things just a little bit. And so I go through here, find a couple more stickers. this one. I think it said homemade, and then there was like another one that said like picking baskets of happiness or something like that. And then I finished it off. It needed one more little sticker, and so I finished it off with a little flower here and brings out a little bit of that orange and pop that up. And then I'm just going to add some of the stems that Emily sent as well, just to stick inside there. And this is just going to give us another kind of filler item for our tier tray. And that was super easy to make and so much fun.
When the wind is blowing in my direction, still I can't ignore the pain. It's the only thing that tells me I'm breathing. I lost you from the start. Someone said you're hard.
This is another little filler item. This is like a little egg holder from Easter. It was $2.99, so I probably got it for 29 cents when they had stuff at 90% off. So I was looking for a cutting board in my stash, a little one, and I didn't have any. So at first I was going to turn this over and do like an apple cider recipe. But then I have the little apples from Dollar General that I used in that previous project. And I set it in that little hole and I was like, oh my gosh, it fits perfect. And so I decided just to kind of make this like a little sign. So went to Cricut, just cut out made fresh daily. I'm gonna just glue that little apple in the center there and add a ribbon, and that's it. Again, I just wanted a couple more filler pieces, and how this one just turned out so cute. Another easy peasy thing.
The train just left this town. While I'm slowly heading back to my apartment, I'm not asking for your thoughts. I'm just thinking out loud in the darkness. There's no point 'cause we both know. From here there's nowhere to go.
One last filler piece. I was actually going to just make a ladder out of popsicle sticks, but then I found this in my stash again from that grab bag. I just covered it in antique wax and had another apple from the same grab bag. And I'm just going to add this little apple to the sign. I flipped it over just to make sure my pen was working. And then I just write out apple picking. Now, it actually bled a little bit, so I kind of wish I had used my white ballpoint pen, but that's okay. And I'm just going to glue this to my little ladder because, of course, I'm going to need a ladder to apple pick because I'm short. And then you remember how there was that orange and white twine that she wrapped my mystery items in? Well, I did save that and I'm going to use it and I'm just going to tie a little bow. Now that leaf was really hanging on, so of course I accidentally knocked it off, but it's okay. I just glue it back on.
Someone said your heart is golden. All I got was my heart broken. I can see the dawn is coming just for you, for you, for you.
And if you remember how I rolled out that clay, I did have that little pin and I just added 3 apple stickers and some raffia to it as well. And that does it for our filler pieces. Now, I did forget. I hadn't used everything in the tier tray because I still have this to use. So I'm going to go ahead and take it apart and then we will start recreating this. Now, one of the bummer things is there was one extra little flag piece and I set it aside and I was gonna use it as a little tag on one of the other projects and it disappeared. I don't know what ended up happening to it. So just pretend I used it on another project. Now to do the beads, I put paint in and water, and then I just mix it around and I get those nice and covered. Now again, this one had a little bit of orange showing through, which again, I think is perfect because apples do have that little bit of orange in them as well. And then I just take a skewer and I get them out this way, and I just take a piece of styrofoam that came in a package and I just tap this I don't know, what do you want to say? Stab it down in there and let them dry. And then if there's any spaces that are glaring, I go ahead and just pop some paint on there. So I go ahead and I spell out the word cider. And again, these are the letters I used in those fall blocks. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint those little letters with red. And for this whole video, I used Apple Barrel in Hot Rod Red. In case anybody wants to use that exact same red, that is the color that I used. And then easy peasy, I'm just going to glue these back onto our little flags there. And I had the same apple. I had a couple of those apples, like the one I used on the ladder. And so I also added apple there too because I wanted it to be like apple cider. And then I'm going to just string this back together. And this isn't too much of a cheat that I just turned it right back into a banner, but it was just too cute not to. And a banner always looks really cute on the tier trays. Now, I had never thought of doing the cute little clothespin clips. Like, that's genius. That's a genius way. Now, of course, my tier tray was a little too thick and it did not want to clip those. So I ended up clipping them to the leaves that I put on there. And so that worked fine. So this finally completes our whole tier tray. I had so much fun making this video. I've done one other little bit of an apple video, so it was fun to do something, a theme that I've never really done. And I had so much fun. I think a hot cocoa theme would have been really fun too. But I loved, doing something so different. So you'll have to let me know down in the comments which project was your favorite. Which one did you think was thinking outside the box? Because I really did try to do that. Also, shout out to those nails that I wore throughout the video. Those were so cute. This is how it looks hanging on the tray. And we're going to span out here and you're going to get to see the whole tray put together. Now, if you love this tier tray because it is a little bit different, I did make it and I will link the circle pieces where I bought. And then I just used like spindles that I got. Literally, somebody was just giving them away and I cut them down. And so they're actually 2 different like spindles, which you can buy at like Home Depot too. And I just glued them down. And I love this tier tray so much because it's a little different than just doing, you know, them up and down. You get kind of a little bit more things spaced out. So how do you think this tray turned out? And let me know in the comments. Remember to check out the playlist in the description and check out Jamie's video and see what I sent him and go around all until you get back to me. And until next time, happy crafting.